Gray Zone Warfare has really good bones. You might see that comment quite a lot. It refers to the fact that the game, although it's in a pre-alpha state, is actually pretty damn good for what it is so far. I mean, obviously there are issues with rubber banding, helicopters not coming in when you want them to, and quite a few other things, but, you know, I've really been enjoying the game myself, and I've put in about 80 hours of my free time into it right now. So what this video is essentially me doing a video essay on the game and what kind of improvements can be made to make it more playable and even more streamable on services like Twitch. Content creation right now for GZW is kind of a mixed bag. On the one hand, there's amazing content out there already on YouTube, pre-recorded, where you can learn about gun builds and quest guides and how to even farm keys in certain locations like Midnight Sapphire. Similar deal with VODs, aka video on demand. I can jump into a stream that was previously recorded, reinforce certain learnings about certain loot runs, for example, and how to avoid as much AI as possible to finish up a quest. But I think right now the game is practically unstreamable for live audiences because there's so much time in the game where literally nothing is happening and you're just watching someone fly from point A to point B. So selfishly for me, if the game becomes more streamable, more people will get into it and play, more people will watch, which means a bigger piece of the pie for everyone involved who might want to make content for the game. So what are we going to cover in the rest of this video about Gray Zone Warfare and how to make it more streamable and more playable? Number one, obviously, is going to be about PvP and what it might take to make it more exciting. Number two, improving AI to make them less aimbody and more forgiving to an extent, while also remaining challenging. And number three, improving key spawns, making them show up more so that the game flow can be improved even more so versus the current state. We all know that better PvP means more eyeballs, which means more engaged users, and therefore higher player count, and more sales of the game even. Now don't get me wrong, I love a good rat hunting, pre-recorded video on YouTube, but there's not much that compares to the thrill of watching a good PvP battle, whether it's solo, whether it's groups, whether it's even something else, live on a stream, and being able to engage with the community shortly after, or during it even. These moments are too few and far in between to be able to stay engaged long enough on a Twitch stream and experience one of these type of moments. But it's not only the frequency of moments, it's also the type of moments that we see in PvP in Gray Zone. Currently most of the PvP is oriented around, sort of comically, looking for someone hiding in a bush with a sniper rifle, or looking for somebody who's camping your buddy's body in hopes that when you respawn and come back that they're able to get a kill without doing much work. It would be really nice if more of the PvP happened in some of the hotspots. Maybe perhaps even in the hotel at Midnight Sapphire, which brings us to our next point, which is AI equality and AI response times, and a little more than that. Now with the AI, they're a lot harder than they need to be, but let me explain a little more in depth. It doesn't really bug me at all that they're able to headshot or even burst your arm or back or wherever your armor is not covering the body and be able to take you out really quickly in a quick burst like that. What does bother me about the AI so far is their ability to kind of see you through walls, see you through bushes, and pretty much make concealment really impossible unless you're behind hard cover. The thing is, they shouldn't be able to see you behind bushes and all that kind of stuff, which kind of breaks the immersion a little bit, but more importantly, it also just makes the game feel unfair and too punishing, which is, I guess, not really great for the player's psychology, if you will, whether it's on PvE mode or PvP mode. Because of this difficulty level in the AI, it's really hard to find PvP in certain areas of the game, which is why most of the PvP right now is centered around landing zones, bushes in landing zones, and even areas right outside the main areas. For example, the outskirts of the bunkers, or from the hills and the elevated areas above Sawmill, where a lot of snipers will initiate action. So not a lot of CQB type PvP yet, but I'm really confident we'll start seeing that sometime in the next few quarters, a year, because I know the developers are really responsive and they're probably working on it already, so I'm not really worried about it, but that's just how things are in the current state with the AI. And finally, a super quick point about key spawns. Right now the game flow is impacted quite a lot by the, how do you say this, not so generous allocation of RNG for certain keys to be farmed. I think that for the keys that were required in the starter town, those are at a much higher clip, so I'm sure this is a harder fix than I think it might be, but if keys for the mid to late game type quests can be spawned a little more often, I think that'd be a really good thing for game flow. It'd make the game more enjoyable. It'll also make the streams a little easier to watch because I don't think anyone really likes watching someone else farm AI live by memorizing AI patterns. And to farm the AI, loot through maybe 10 to 30 bodies and maybe find a key. Like, that's just not really good for the game flow. But again, this piece I'm not worried about either. I'm sure that the balance will feel right and less punishing and a little more fair at some point in the game. But right now, I'm just gonna keep, key farming, but obviously I'm not gonna post content of me farming keys because it's just not gonna get a lot of views and whatnot. To summarize really quick, some key points, right? The game is in a really, really good place in my opinion for pre-alpha, but this is just, again, an essay on what we might see in the near future that would not only sustain the player count for the game, but also make it much more fun to watch from a live perspective, not just on VODs and not just on YouTube videos. If you want more content like this, please feel free to like and subscribe and leave a comment if you have the time. It would mean a lot to me, and it would also mean a lot to the YouTube algorithm, and it would really create an incentive to just keep on pumping out this type of content. But until the next one, you have a good one and enjoy your week as much as you can.